Hello, beautiful people. This is Cindy Pressgrace with Cindy's Realty Group by EXP. And today I want to talk to you guys about what is the market doing? Okay, so there's been a lot of concerns. Yes, house sales have been slowing down. Yes, that means when you list a house, there's not, and it all depends on the area, location, what type of home it is, how many bedrooms. It's going to come down to location mainly and the price point because interest rates have increased. But a lot of people are concerned about is the market going to crash? All right, let me explain to you what is really going on with the market. Okay, so is this a housing correction or a crash? So the market actually is correcting. What does it mean in the terms of correction? Let me explain to you a little bit more on this. Okay, it's not a crash though, but the interest rates are going up a little bit, right? We're in the six. Okay, let me not put more salt in the wound, but let me talk to you a little bit more about this, what's really going on in the market. So, if you're following the news, all of the headlines about conditions in the current housing market may leave you with more questions than answers. And this is what I want to explain to you guys because when I'm talking about what is really going to happen, I want to explain to you the details. And if you guys have any comments or any concerns, please comment below so I can explain to you more in detail. Keep in mind, the market has changed drastically. And yes, you know what? It could be, hey, you know what? There was lower interest rates a couple of months ago. And let me just keep on telling you. Okay, so this is leaving you with more questions and is doubtful about like, okay, what is really going to happen in here? Okay, let me get to the point, people. All right, is the boom over? Is the market crashing or correcting? These are some things that you guys need to know a little bit more in detail. The housing market is moderating compared to the last 2 years. Yes, everything was go, 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 go. We can't go. Okay, we're gonna look at a house. We gotta run for it, run for it. Okay, but everybody needs to remember that in the past 2 years, we were record breaking in nearly every way. So record low mortgage rates. Believe me, I even saw people at a 1.75, 1.79, but they were buying the rates down. Keep that in mind. The lower the rate, the more house they can get, right? But now, let me keep on telling you this. So, and millennials were reaching the peak of home buying years, leading to an influx of buyer demand. We're still in a high demand for houses. That means we're still 5 million houses under supply. You know what? It's not overbuilt or anything. So don't worry about that. So yes, your house will sell, but it's going to take a little bit longer than before because of the interest rates. And some people have been squeezed out of the market, meaning that let's say that 600, $700,000 house that you bought or that you were looking at, you're no longer going to be able to be you're not no longer going to be able to afford that that 5, 6, $700,000 house. If not, you're going to have to look at a lower price range in the 400s or 500s, depending on the situation and depending what your credit score, interest rate, and so forth. But let me keep on telling you what's really about this, okay? And if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Okay, at the same time, there weren't enough homes available to purchase thanks to many years of building. Keep that in mind. Builders were not building, and sellers who held off on listing their home because of the health concerns, because of COVID. Remember that virus that came up? Yep, the health crisis, the pandemic. This was something that we were not expecting. We didn't even know what COVID was till it actually happened. But the combination led to a record high demand and record low supply. And that wasn't going to be sustainable for a long term. So, yes, during those 2 years, we were like going fast, 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 and the interest rates were low. But if you guys take a look at my other videos, and I was going to explain more about like the security mortgages and so. But the latest data shows early signs of a shift back to the market pace seen in years leading up to the pandemic. So Georgia's a little bit different than any other market, but then again, this is not a crash nor a correction. So as realtor.com says, the housing market is at a turning point. We're starting to see signs of a new direction. So their new signs is not a crash and it's not a correction. So what is it? So home showings then and now. So I'm going to explain to you what in the past 2 years how home showings were. So the home showing time, we're tracking the traffic of home showings according to agents and brokers, right? So it's a good indication of buyer demand. So I'm going to explain to you. So in 2000, between 2019 and 2022, the 2019 numbers give a good baseline of pre-pandemic demand, as the graphic indicates home showings skyrocketed during the pandemic. Yes, a lot of people were looking at houses because they were in high demand. They're like, hey, you know what? I'm at home. Let's find that bigger place that we could actually move into. And you know what? I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be stuck home with you. Of course not, right? My husband needs his own space. I need my own space, office space. Everything changed during COVID, right? Okay, so and while current buyer demand has begun to moderately, slightly based on the latest data, showings are still above 2019 levels. Keep this in mind. This is going to be depending on location and area and type of home and price range. Also, and since 2019 was such a strong year for the housing market, this helps shows that the market isn't crashing. So people, get that out of your mind. And I keep on telling you guys this. Yes, the market is not going to crash. It's just a turning point that is moving back towards more pre-pandemic levels. So it's going to be, you know what, if your house is going to be listed, it's going to take, a week or two, three, depending on if you're realistic with your price. So just be patient. That's all you have to do. The right buyer will come at the right time. You got the right realtor, believe me, it will sell. But you got to be a little bit patient with what's going on. So existing home sales then and now. Okay, let me talk to you about the existing home sales. Headlines are also talking about how existing homes are declining, but perspective is what matters. So I'm going to explain to you what happened between existing home sales above 2019 levels. Okay, so in 2019, this is pre-pandemic, we were looking at a 5.3 million a year. Now in April 2022, 5.6. We're still in a higher demand or existing home sales than in 2019. Yes, we're looking at 300,000 difference, but it's still on top, and that's really important. Again, a similar story emerges, the pandemic numbers, and this is where we're talking about 2020 and 2021. So beat the more typical year of 2019 home sales. And according to the latest projections for 2022, the market is on pace to close this year with more home sales than in 2019 as well. So if you're concerned that the market is actually going to crash, is going to correct, it's actually going towards a new direction. So it's important to compare today not to the abnormal pandemic years, but to the most recent normal year to show the current housing market is still strong. So don't worry about it. So this is what First American sums it up like this. Today's housing market looks a lot like the 2019 housing market, which was the strongest housing market in a decade at that time. So keep that in mind. Yes, interest rates were, I cannot remember how much were interest rates, but they were around the five-ish, four-ish. It had to be, yeah, around that. But if recent headlines are generating any concerns, look at more typical year for perspective. So you got to look at 2019. Don't look at 2020 and 2021 because this was totally, completely different. But the current market is not going to crash, or it's not a correction either. So it's just a turning point towards a more typical pre-pandemic level. So we're going back to what was 2019, okay? So it's like I said, if you guys have any questions about your local market, let me know, comment below, and let me see how I can help you. So this is Cindy Pressgraves with Cindy's Realty Group by EXP, and I hope you like this video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and comment below. Have a